I think that, I mean, obviously, if it's the coaches, that's a whole other topic. But I think there's a lot of confusion as to, well, what is a calorie deficit? What is maintenance? What is a surplus? I mean, most people, I would argue, don't actually, even if they, well, most people don't like weigh their food and log their food accurately, even when they're trying to assess that. And then on the other end, it's like, even if they are as perfect as they can be, there's so much variability in an app or, whatever that, you're not going to be 100% accurate. So, um, like defining what a calorie deficit is versus surplus versus maintenance, like, do you think it's like, how would you go about, like, I guess, qualifying or quantifying like what that actually is? Because, for example, like, most people are like, oh, well, if I'm eating in a calorie deficit, I should lose weight. Or if I'm in a calorie surplus, I should gain weight. But what if they're technically doing that, but the weight actually isn't changing?
God, you're gonna hate this answer because the answer is it depends. Like there's so
Laurie,
many
that's my favorite answer. I love when people say it depends.
there's so many different ways to skin the cat. And so the ultimate answer is that every single fucking diet works. Carnivore works. Keto works. Intermittent fasting works. Paleo, it all works. And so the question then becomes which one is right for you, because it's all about, can we be consistent, can we be adherent, and can you show up and make shit happen. And so again, it's like I mostly do macro based coaching with people. And so if somebody inquires and they're like, hey, I don't really want to track, I don't really want to weigh and measure my food, I respond back truthfully. It's like, hey, I'm not the coach for you, because I fluidly believe that we should treat nutrition like a science experiment where we have metrics we can manipulate. We know, hey, if this is the input, this is what the outcome was, and then we can adjust accordingly. Does that mean I have anything against people that want to intuitively eat, or no, I'm just not the coach for you. And so I think, like, even with my ebook, like, that's been the hardest part, is again, like, helping people navigate to figure out what's best for them and their lifestyle. Because again, it's like, if somebody's current diet is full of fast food and soda and chips and cookies, they don't necessarily need to do macros. Like, they just need to do a cleanup on the quality of what they're eating, right? But reversely, for some people, it's like, well, if you're already getting in, 5 to 800 grams of vegetables, if you're already getting in 200 grams of fruit, you're eating enough fiber, you're supplementing all the things you need to be supplementing, like you're working with a good coach, inside of the gym. And, we know that, you're getting 10,000 steps outside of the gym, your diet, your lifestyle, your everything is flawless. That's when we have to start looking at, oh, well, maybe this isn't even related to nutrition and dieting right now. Like, maybe we've got some hormone issues, or maybe we've got some gut health issues. And so even, like, my early coaching years, like, those weren't questions I was asking. It's like, oh, so tell me about when you go to the bathroom, what happens, or how often are you going to the bathroom? Or again, hey, this is what a normal menstrual cycle looks like, with this understanding, now tell me about yours. Or asking those questions, like, that's not something I started doing until recently, because I realized, what a big component that is to people. So for example, if you don't have a menstrual cycle, your menstrual cycle is your best indicator of health. It tells you what your body's doing under the hood. We understand women were put on this planet to make babies at a very basic level, right? Like, men can't do that. That is unique to females. So what does it say about the underlying state of your health if you don't have a menstrual cycle and you don't have the ability to make babies? Like, people don't understand that's not an okay thing, right? And so that's where the coaching conversation goes from, hey man, we were worrying about the macros. We need to figure out, we need to get with the doctor. We need to get some testing. We need to do some problem solving, because if you don't have a menstrual cycle, things aren't going to get better in a caloric deficit, right? Like, if food is scarce, the body understands that. And so it's going to shut down reproductive function. And a lot of people, that's a side effect we see, is like, oh yeah, like last summer I got super lean, And then I also lost my period and I haven't gotten it back since. And you're like, oh, holy shit, right? Well, no wonder now, present day, we're trying to take you to a caloric deficit and nothing's happening. Like, we need to go fix the health things, right? Um, so I think that like coaching at a surface level is so easy, and then it's so complicated because again it comes down to like, well, how educated is this person, what does their nutrition, their lifestyle, their exercise, their environment, what does all of that look like? And so it's like everybody is their own unique snowflake. Everyone comes from a different background because again, if you've never really dieted before, like I recently had a client that it was like, oh, tell me about your exercise habits, or like how do you decide the foods that you eat? Well, she wasn't exercising like at all. Like she knows she should be doing it, but she just hadn't found anything she was passionate about doing, so she wasn't. And same thing like nutrition wise, it was just like, I don't really put any thought into it. Whatever sounds good, I eat it. And she's been the most fascinating client to me because again, I'm so conditioned to people that are doing everything right, and not realizing that it's underlying gut stuff, or it's underlying adrenal issues, or menstrual issues or stuff like that. So it's just, there's so many different possibilities there with people. So it's such, like I said, nutrition is so simple, and yet so very convoluted and complicated all at the same time.
Yeah.